Today we're going climbing on this king line opened by Chris Sharma more than 17 years ago in Targasonne, France. But there's just one little problem. You see, that's me just a few seconds before I had a massive panic attack that left me asleep on top of that boulder. Oh, and this climb? I got stuck on top of this boulder too. It took me 30 minutes to down climb. Me and highballs don't really mix. And this thing is really, really high. If I stand any chance of climbing this line by Chris Sharma, I'm really gonna have to conquer my fears. Let's get things going with a little warm up for bouldering. I'm gonna kill Lucie right now. She's trying to make fun of my fringe. This is Pearl Rare 6A. I wasn't expecting it to be that painful for the first one. Next, this is Autofocus 6B. This is Course de Red, it's a 6C. It was the second boulder they did for the women's finals in the bouldering competition. They did it here a few weeks ago in Targasonne, and Lucie absolutely crushed it. Oh, I think I should have hucked for the top instead of trying to do the heel hook. Way better without the heel hook. For me at least. I really like that last move, trucking over the lip. Where back over here at the boulder, I'm actually watching this video from Chris Sharma from 17 years ago. It's so old school. Chris Sharma's just climbing in the rain. You can see that everything's wet around him, and he actually says, yeah, I couldn't do it anymore. I got rain in my eyes. It's like typical Chris Sharma fashion. Grab the crimp, passat, and trying hard. We'll see if I have any of the same luck. The boulder's called In the Shadow. It's an 8A or 8A plus, depending on if you start with a swing start or if you do a static start for the first move. This is actually my second day climbing on In the Shadow. I tried this line last week with my friend Gail from Toulouse, who's really, really strong. But the problem that I had was the crux move, which is pretty high off the deck, and there was entering kind of the mental battle. Not only the mental battle, but it's one of the hardest moves. Definitely the objective for today is going to be doing that crux move. Now, since I can't try the top out unless I actually do the crux move, what I'm going to do first is start with the easiest move. And then once I feel that my fingers are warm, we'll go right for that crux move. Oh, it's so sharp. This the first move is one of the hardest on this boulder. I'm gonna skip that by just grabbing the first right hand crimp and then seeing if I can move my feet up so I can get to the same spot that I just did. Wow, how did I do that last week? Holy macaroni. I can't even pull on right now. Oh, there we go. I had to change my right hand a little bit around the side so I could, instead of putting my thumb over my index, I had to grab it a little bit more like a pinch and then bump my left hand up another hand hold before I move my foot up into the start hold. This is like warm up right now, and I'm already doing a massacre of the skin. I think my tries are numbered on this boulder. We've done all the moves, minus that start move. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna focus all our energy on the crux move now. Gonna get a pad up here behind me. I don't think the fall actually goes onto this block that's behind the boulder, but when you're climbing, it definitely gives you a sense of you're just gonna fall and do a crazy pinball. That should work. No way. Oh yeah, I can't. I think a hold might have broken off here because that feels like it's too low. One of the climbers in that first original video grabs something out to the right and then the heel hooks here, but it feels really desperate. I don't think that I'm going to be able to do anything off of that crimp. Oh, that is really far. That's gonna be hard for me. I'm a static sloth usually. That's frustrating. Usually one thing that I'm really good at when I'm rock climbing and bouldering is that I take the time to find like alternative solutions as workarounds to hard sequences, but I don't think that I have a whole lot of option on this boulder. I think that I need to do the move or do the move. I don't know, today I'm not getting good vibes. I feel a little bit kind of weak on those crimps. And then of course, you're like thinking ahead, if I grab that right hand, what do I do next? Because you're pretty high off the ground, then it starts to get into a very big commitment to not fall. Let's give it a few more tries. Oh. As soon as I started to pull off for the move, it's like there's no way I'm gonna reach it. We're gonna finish out this session by trying to link all of the lower moves. But I would definitely like to repeat the boulder doing that first move static, just because, I don't know, what do you guys think? I don't know if I see a whole lot of sense to jumping and skipping that first move when there's a perfectly good hand hold here and a foot hold. This is the start hold. Unfortunately, I think this one would have been chipped. It's a 2-finger pocket. You can get a little thumb catch here. 1 finger if you've got little sausage fingers. We've got foot holds here. If you don't do a swing start for the first move, then this is your foot to do the first move. And here would be your right hand starting crimp if you static the first move. It's about that big, so maybe 8 or 10 millimeters. This is the crimp that you're going to. It's all right, it's in cut, but again, it's quite sharp. Here we've got the first left hand pinch. You've got a left hand hold out here. It's a half pad crimp. Another pinch. We've got a right hand half pad hold. As you're working your way up the prow, you can get some heel hooks on these crimps. And then our crux move is going to come off of this right hand pretty good hold that's got a thumb here. And it's about a full pad crimp. And then we have 2 options. We have a right hand shark tooth crimp and a hold that I hadn't seen last week that's a little bit of an undercling. From these 2 holds, the crux move is going to be going out right to this hold that's really far because you've only got a right foot here. Or the old school beta that Chris and the 2 French climbers in the video from long ago, they somehow got a left hand to a little jib somewhere out there. I tried it last week and I had no luck. I have no idea how they did that beta. Wow, good link. And that is it for today. Kind of surprised myself I was able to get all the way to the top. Oh my gosh, look at how thrashed that skin is. Whew. We'll see you in the next session. And we're back here in Targasonne for session number 4 on Chris Sharma's King Line in the shadow. Session number 3 was really productive. I ended up not getting the camera out with the microphones just because I was with a climber from France and a climber from Spain. I didn't want to feel really awkward talking in English the whole time. But my friend Marius from France, he knows how to put up ropes, and he had actually rigged a rope system so we could rappel down from the top, and I was able to try the whole top section of In the Shadow, which just is a huge mental breakthrough for me, knowing that once I arrive to, there's kind of like a triangular feature at the top of the climb that's really high off the ground, but once you arrive there, the boulder's absolutely done, and it's just to, you know, stay calm, stay chill, and do the last moves. And then after we tried out the moves on a top rope, we pulled up another red pad just so my friend Marius was able to give some tries the next day. But unfortunately, I had to run back to the car and get a pad now, because there's some climbers that had taken the second red pad to use on a boulder just behind in the shadow. But no worries, I've got 3 triples today with me. After doing the top out on the rope a few times, I was also able to try the crux move and use one of the other holds, and I'm now 100% convinced that the hold that appears in Chris Sharma's video from when they all did the first, second, and third ascents is broken. So I don't think that that's going to be a good option for me. And then at the end of the session, I decided that I would take off the rope and try the crux moves like I'd been doing on the first 2 days. And voila, I stuck the crux move, and I actually didn't get it on camera. So I put the camera on and I gave it a few attempts from the ground. Unfortunately, this was pretty late in the session and the sin jitter started to set in, and I wasn't able to relax and get things done in that session. So we're back today. It's now December, and you can see that the leaves are pretty much all gone. It's supposed to snow this weekend. It's quite a bit colder, so we're gonna get warmed up as fast as we can. As soon as I'm ready, I'll put the camera on and give it some sin goes. See you over there. This is Love is in the Air 7A Plus slab, and it's high. I am so glad I didn't fall at the top. The lip up there, I remember those being like jugs that you were gonna grab and then you wouldn't fall after, but there's just like a tiny little grain, a tiny little crystal that you grab as soon as you go inwards, and it's all in your feet, so you have nothing to pull on. And I was really scared because of course I have no spotter, and you don't wanna fall from up top. If there's one way to get warm, it's to get really, really scared and try a lot harder than you need to try. And then you get pumped and you're good to go. There's the other red pad. And just around the corner is in the shadow. I was gonna ask the climbers that were there on the block behind me with that red pad if they would lend me a hand before they packed up. And they did it so silently that I had no idea that they were leaving. And that thing is really big. I don't know if I could get it myself. Why? Ta-da! Holy macaroni, those are big. So I just warmed up all the moves down on the bottom part. That went pretty good, just like you saw in the second session when I was videoing for the first time here. And right now I'm going to jump up and work on the crux. Hopefully I can stick it. What I realized last time during the third session is that you do have to pull pretty hard with your hands, but as you're working off of this high right foot, at the last moment, as you're reaching out to the crimp, you have to push super, super hard with that leg, and that's what actually propels you up so you can get the right hand. If I can stick that, I need to get a left heel over my hand and then do a cross move, and that's a point where you could still drop the boulder, and you definitely don't want to fall there just because I think you're going to do a crazy pinball from up top. If I can stick the crux, we'll start giving some sin burns from the bottom. If not, well, we'll wrap this thing up and come back another day. The sun's going to go down soon, so I think I've probably got another 15-20 minutes of light, and then we'll have to do a night sesh. Projecting is frustrating, man. It's normally not my style to give sin burns from the bottom if I can't do one of the moves on the climb. and especially this because it's after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different hand movements. But just I think for the kind of the training session today and to see where I'm at, I'm going to see if I can link all the moves and at least try to do that dynamic and see how close I can get to touching the hold. Pretty happy with that link. I was very surprised. I felt pretty good getting up the crux move, and then I need to get that crux style down, but considering that I wasn't able to do it today, that whole bottom section felt really nice, got all the holds pretty good, and I think this boulder is going to be just kind of having patience and waiting for that day when I arrive and I feel strong and I'm able to do that move, and you know, everything clicks. Surprised myself there. I wasn't expecting to get all the way up to the crux move. Stoked. Did it 2 times today. It was such a bummer. I actually felt more solid on the very last go of the day, even though I think that I have less strength. I'm getting tired for sure, and my skin is on fire right now. But I felt more solid, and it was a bummer that my foot popped just before I was able to make the crux move, but I'm glad mentally that I stuck with it and I made the attempt to go for it. And I was only about that far, pretty much the same as you saw in all my other tries when I was doing the move isolated. So I think we're gonna stop the session there for today, and we'll see you guys next time. It's day 5. It snowed really, really hard last week, but the irony is that today there's snow all over the ground and it's like low 50s. I stuck the crux. I just found out for the left foot, I put a left foot and that was able to push me really hard out to the right. And I think that's going to be the key. I need to, instead of just getting the high right foot, I thought I needed to get the right foot on and rock over. But what I actually need to do is not only get the right foot on, but I need to push off with the left really hard. And that's what kind of gave me that extra little boom at the end to grab the upper crimp. Ooh, but I got a little scared up there. That is major progress. Stoked about that. Oh, now I've got the sin jitters. Man, oh man, they're the worst. If you guys have any tips on how to deal with that, definitely leave me a comment, because that is something that I often struggle with. Oh, I've been eating chalk. Ugh. Dry fired as I was going out for the dynamic move, but I felt so solid. I think we're getting close. Until another day. Day 6. It's cold and I'm tired. This was by far the most frustrating session of the whole process. I had really planned for this day to be a potential sin day, but I couldn't stick the crux move, and I tried to pull on from the start 2 times, but couldn't manage the move, and I think I just had a lot of fatigue in my fingers and ended up packing things up early. Day 7.
Bien. Venga. Venga, Alex. Muy bien. Venga. Venga. Después es buena. Más. Ahí. Super. Super.
Ooh, stuck the crux. It's the first time I stuck the crux successfully. First attempt. And I didn't even have the right hand good at all. Let's give it a rest and cross the fingers. See if this thing cooperates today. Lucie's happy because it's basically freezing, but it's sunny and there's no wind. And she also sent her proj earlier today. Sing while you may. 7B.
Venga. Bien. Respira, ¿eh? Eso. Venga. Super, Alex. Super. Venga, respira. Respira. Venga. Y ahí respira muy bien, tranqui. Eso. Tú sabes cómo va. Con todo. Fuerte. Fuerte, fuerte, fuerte. Bien, Alex. Super fuerte. Muy bien. Concentra en lo que haces. Muy bien, Alex. Muy bien, muy tranqui ahí. Eso. Y aquí coge tiempo para respirar. Muy bien, Alex. Muy bien. Písale bien. Súper fuerte.
Joder.
¡Oh, el primero!
Oh, I think my heart is still racing. Whew. Whew. First go of the day. I can't believe it. Ah, that doesn't usually happen, but this thing was turning into an epic. Oh, I'm glad that my mind relaxed. I was heel hooking so hard as I was making the crossover move going up to the last top holds. I thought my hamstring muscle was gonna like cramp up on me, and I couldn't feel my hands as I was getting to that jug, but I didn't want to let it go after I stuck the crux. Patience always pays off. Put in the time and things always work out.
I think we need to eat more raclette, because yesterday we had raclette, so not the best to send, but it worked.
If you don't know what raclette is, it's just steamed potatoes with a ton of melted cheese on top, with all these kinds of like ham, sausages, Iberian hams, basically fat, salt. But it worked today. Stoked to get that thing in the bag. Chris Sharma's King Line in the Shadow 8A Plus here in Targasonne, France. We'll see you guys in the next video.